Welcome to the Cielo Spiritual Foundation podcast, your guide to healing, balance, and renewal. Join your host, Michelle Garcia, as she connects with leading experts to share powerful insights on mind, body, and recovery strategies. Tune in, transform, and discover new ways to live a better life. It all starts now.
So today I'm happy to welcome Michelle Garcia.
My friend Michelle Garcia is back here on the program to tell us a bit about an upcoming Cielo Spiritual Foundation.
Michelle Garcia with Cielo Spiritual Foundation, inspiring interviews, and today we have an inspiring look at Josie Herndon, whom I have the honor of having met 14 years and 9 months ago. So our meeting, it showed me that she literally is the God fairy of the treatment industry, as many refer to her, because she literally sprinkled her love and respect all over my business, and it just transformed from then on in beautiful ways. And I've grown so much since we first met, and I'm so excited for you to hear about her adventure, because she's literally touched the lives of so many businesses and has really added value to our industry. And I think, you'll enjoy what she has to share with you today. So that said, hello.
Hi, thank you, Michelle. It's such an honor to be on your show.
Oh, thank you.
I love everything that you do at Cielo.
Thank you.
Can I share about Cielo, the name, and
Yes.
how that
Oh my
came
gosh.
up? Oh, remember?
That's crazy.
Oh my gosh! So we were, you got your beautiful sober living out in Sky Valley,
The original
and
one,
your original one, out from Malibu.
From here, yeah.
Right, well, yeah, because she came. We met first in Malibu, and then she came out to the desert in that beautiful facility in Sky Valley, but she didn't know what the name. And I remember this is kind of funny, but I was eating up at the Cielo at the Morongo, and we're up at the top of the sky. And then I went to your place, and I felt like, oh my gosh, we're up in the sky, because you could see everything for miles, like you were in the clouds. It was so beautiful.
That's right.
And so I said, I think you should do Cielo,
I know,
because. I don't know. We were throwing names out. You know how, because we always talk business together, so we coach each other with that.
Exactly.
And because we have to, when you have a business, you have to come up with the perfect name.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you do that? But
And it's been original, because
yes,
really
nobody had it.
with it.
No,
actually, to be
right.
honest.
And
It's been
it
good
really
to me.
means heaven.
Yeah,
is
like,
what it
I
means.
think of it
Yeah.
like spirit in the sky.
Spirit in the sky.
it's
It
been
means
so
heaven.
blessed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
I
what it's
think-
been.
yeah.
So, anyways,
Thank
I
you
just
for that,
wanted to.
by the way.
I thought about that when you said Cielo. I'm like, you know what? We were
Brainstorming.
I was brainstorming. I was part of that.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is,
good.
like I said, an honor
So
for everything.
I know,
Yeah.
it's crazy. I'm so thankful you were here when I got to the desert, because
Yes.
I didn't know anyone. I'm just like, okay, I'm recreating my life and then here you are.
Yeah.
So what can you share? There's so many people that want to learn and grow, and you've done so much. What can you share in your infinite wisdom with this industry that you think like the new person coming into would love to?
I love working with a new person coming in, because I always feel like it's, the freshman coming in, to school or college. It's like, you can tease them a little bit, but help them a lot, and welcome them. When we were just at the West Coast Symposium, and I met a couple people that are brand new in our industry, and I was just like, I love that. And I just, encourage them that it's not always going to be easy, but it's going to be rewarding, because when we help save lives, there's nothing more we can do. It's all God's work, and I know that that's, everything that we do is spiritual, and this, with this spiritual podcast and, combining spiritual intuition with business. So that's pretty much what I do, because people say, how can you do your spiritual work when you're doing so much CEO work? So I'm a CEO, and it's like, I couldn't be a CEO if it weren't for my spiritual work.
I know, right?
Because you have to have that balance, and you have to be grounded when you're putting, any business together, but especially when you're saving lives like we do.
No doubt. So
yeah.
I know, initially you started off being a consultant and doing marketing for companies, taking their business and getting it off the ground.
Yes.
So how did that transform to your wanting to do more of the actual creating an outpatient treatment center, actually creating the space for the healing?
Well, it just all evolves, as life does.
Right.
Everything evolves. So I started working at the hospital, Loma Linda, in 1987, and then I left in 2000. So I was working in the medical field and at the Behavioral Medicine Center. And then I started straight off consulting company because I knew I wanted to market. I loved marketing.
Yeah.
When I was at the hospital, I would watch the marketers run around and go, do you really get paid to do that and have all that fun? When I'm sitting there, in my cubicle or in my office doing, whatever I was doing for business admissions and everything. And so I started doing marketing for the Behavioral Medicine Center, which they never marketed for their chronic pain track ever.
Oh, wow.
Because it's a hospital, Loma Linda, you don't have to market. But we had this special program, Chronic Pain with Addiction, that we wanted the world to know about. And that was back when pain and addiction was just coming out in the 90s. Wow. So I was privileged to be part of one of the best teams to start that in the country, our first one. So I was able to go market that to the nation and to the Betty Ford Center. And Betty Ford Center, literally, Mark Greenberg, he was my coach right from the beginning. He was my mentor from the beginning. I looked up to Mark Greenberg, who was the vice president of Betty Ford Center, and others, Dan from Hazelden. They kind of took me under their wing when I was this kid from Loma Linda that had never left Loma Linda. So I was
That's like one of the blue zones.
I was raised in a blue zone and so Seventh-day Adventist and Catholic, so I was totally religious in this little box, and then I go out to, the world, as they say, when you're in, and I was just like, wow, I love this and I want to market. So I started my own company in 2000 with probably 5 clients already because I had a great book of business. Nice. And one of them was out here in Palm Springs, Rose Swearingen. Actually, she was my first client at Life's Journey Center. And then I helped Hemet Valley start after that with Steve Collier, went back to work there and then started. So it's been a journey because I've been doing marketing and admissions. That's where I started with marketing and admissions.
And then you have an online magazine though too, right?
That comes up in 2008. Yeah, so then fast forward, I have my company. I'm the only one in our industry that has this database, and I have this large database. And the reason is because at Loma Linda, they didn't give me a budget for marketing because I wasn't really even supposed to be marketing because we were just supposed to get within our hospital system. Hospitals don't usually do national marketing for specialty programs. Yeah. But anyways, so whenever I'd go out to conferences national, I would pick every business card I could. I'd get 200-300 business cards at each conference and start my database that way. I had a Rolodex back in those days. I had a database, and I would email people because they wouldn't even pay for postage. I shouldn't be talking about the hospital, but they didn't want to pay for postage. Yeah. And so I would email people to follow up. So that's how I started my email list.
That's how I do it.
That many years ago.
That's so awesome.
And so with that, in 2008, I started recoveryview.com, an online journal, because I had my big email list, and then I had a wonderful employee, Cynthia, that helped me build the list and keep it clean. And we have authors online and just a wonderful, a wonderful community. And then we were doing conferences. So for years I did conferences, marketing, and bringing people together because that's God's plan, right? Is to bring people together and have us all network instead of being competition. We're all here to help. There's so many clients
in this industry.
For
us to work together.
There's
so many different needs.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
We get to meet people where they're at.
Yeah, so that's where I really got involved in Malibu because I had clients in Malibu. Denise client at Milestones. We would do our monthly luncheons, and I helped start the Canyon. I mean, just a lot of programs through the years.
That was a special one, Milestone. They were like really complex.
They
only dual
still are.
Like, we don't know if you can handle that.
Oh.
And you were like, no, Michelle can. And it was such an honor because I got to attend CODA meetings and really get into different kind of aspects of things because of them.
Right.
And it helped my recovery grow so much.
That's wonderful. And the ranch is so gorgeous, and we could do beautiful events. Yeah.
And that was fun.
And with Glenn and just shout out to Denise Klein and Savannah, my best friends from Milestones. I love them. But I mean, so many wonderful friends, Kathleen Biggs, so many wonderful people in Malibu. And then I came out, then I got called out to, we were shareholders for Astoria Point, Jim and I, my husband, because my husband Jim have all this together. And we were shareholders. We had friends up in Astoria. We go up there. They were having problems with their management, I'll just say that. And they needed me to be the interim CEO. This was in 2011. And I literally had to get rid of all the staff. I had to stay up there for
Clean
2 years,
house,
clean
yeah.
house. It was a mess, 55 bed facility. And then I joined a group of women. We all founded the Women's CEO Global Alliance at that point.
Love it.
So I had these wonderful CEOs, national CEO mentors that helped me get through this and, really turn the program around. And so that's how I got into transitioning to becoming a CEO of a 55 bed facility, and then opening up Awakenings, and then opening up Desert Palms, all within 2 years. I was like on this manic, I don't know,
There was a scene
opening
of
treatment
Upland.
centers,
I love it.
selling, opening, giving back shares. I mean, learning.
And Lacey
they
did
were,
that too,
they were,
didn't he?
they
I
were,
remember
yeah.
so
well,
many
with
interesting
with
people that-
Astoria,
there's only a few people that were really able to pull that off.
yes.
Like, come in, make the magic happen.
Right, make
walk
the magic
away,
happen, yeah.
No attachments.
Yes.
Go on to the next.
That's
so
right.
cool.
But I learned so much in those partnerships and so forth, business things. So then when that all kind of came to an end in 2012 or 2013, anyways, the years go by so fast, but we, Jim and I decided to open up our own ATS, Addiction Therapeutic Services, here in Palm Springs. And that's our IOP. And we have been growing for all these years. And then I just, being an owner of a treatment center, it's outpatient. We said we were doing outpatient so that we could, work part-time, basically 5 days a week instead of 24/7,
Yeah, right.
only work 48 hours instead of 100 and however many. And so, I saw that there was a need for that in our industry, because people would go to residential, they would go home, and then they would relapse.
Yeah.
So we meet our clients where they are at ATS. We have 90 days to 6 months. They're there, some of them for a year, that are with us from IOP to PHP. We're community based. We're in Rancho Mirage. And then we opened up in Barstow.
Yeah,
So that's been great. So
congratulations.
I know.
I was gonna say, it's
Yeah.
like you are one of the few people I know that opened like for teens, for professionals, for mental health, for every track basically. Like
Well,
a night, a day.
Yeah, we were able to. So
was
what do we do is I look at where the needs are in the community, and then we feel that we have our Medi-Cal contract in Rancho Mirage. We can take it in Barstow, plus the insurance. So we're truly helping the community. And most of our people are from the community, and so that's what's wonderful about ATS.
Yes.
But in the meanwhile, I have my experience here with the residential. So Mark Greenberg, the times kind of shift, but called me about 8 years ago and said, Josie, I'm working on a project, because I still do consulting, because really with your own ATS, with your own program, you're not always taking a paycheck. So Jim and I couldn't quit our day jobs, even though we had all our employees to pay, because we have
so much
the
energy
best
anyway.
employees.
I think we all need you.
And I think the key is bringing the best team together.
Yes.
I mean, I have the best team at ATS that I don't even have to go there unless something happens.
I'm going to agree with you, because my clients love going to your center. They don't have to go. They go because they want to.
They want to go.
And then they'll leave, and then they're like, I need a tune-up. I need to go back. And that's nice to hear.
Yes.
I mean, that tells me something about the value that
they
get.
are staff, and it's their place for healing the clients. That's what we put on there. Your safe place for healing, so that all of my work is done outside of the facility, the management, the marketing. I just go in there to talk to clients. I don't go there to do all the business stuff, because that's their place. And we're up to like almost 6,000 square feet now in Rancho Mirage.
Nice.
And so we keep expanding, and just to wherever their needs are.
Yeah.
But Mark called me about Harlow Gardens here in Palm Springs, and that's where we're sitting right now. We're just getting this place open. And it's a 41-bed facility, and the owners have been working on it for 20 years. And Mark's been part of the project for 20 years.
Why so long?
Victoria Smart from Malibu, if you remember Victoria, who she started Watt, and she worked at Promises, start Promise. So she was their consultant to start this, and then she died. And so the project got put on hold. And so then Mark started up again with them. And then we were really close in 2019, and then COVID hit in 20. So then our permits through the city, everything had to be, anyways, it's just a God thing.
Process,
And so we're finally getting ready to open this beautiful facility, which you'll see some photos on, in websites and things. But Mark passed away 3 weeks ago.
What is this? Oh,
I
that's
mean,
so crazy.
I'm like
Sounds like the
torn.
Superman
I
movie.
don't know. I'm like, okay,
no.
but he was sick,
It's a time,
and
it's a
he was
time.
working. But again, he's been such a, and that's why I keep mentioning Mark, because he's not here, but yet I feel that he's here, and I really want this place to open for Mark and his honor,
my gosh.
because this is his place, Harlow Gardens. But God has just been part of all of this. I mean, I can't take any of the credit at all, because, I say yes to God, I say yes to the angels. Not always. I mean, I'm not always, but, every day I do.
everything,
But,
Yes.
I can't, if I'm struggling, I just get into prayer meditation, and I just retreat so that I don't react. I'll retreat. It's better when I retreat, when things get stressful, and then let things fall into place, and God will bring the most wonderful staff, because that's what it's about when you're opening facilities, is to have the team so that you're not having to run. I learned that during COVID, because I was more of an operator instead of an owner, and then I learned during COVID, because I had to work from home and on Zoom and stuff, that I'm more of an owner now instead of a daily operator. So then I could get more done.
That's nice. That's
Yeah.
good.
So I took my pulse off the micromanagement, except for my management team, and then they come to me and we make decisions together.
Well done.
But it took years to figure that out.
I think it's like a trust thing, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
really learning how to trust. Because for me, I relate. I learned how to let my team do more and not always have to be on everything.
Yeah.
I used to run everything at my house.
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore.
Right.
But it gave me so much freedom. It was like more than money could ever buy,
Oh.
actually, because all of a sudden, like,
Yes.
I was like, wow. And it gave other people the opportunity to grow in ways they would have never had I not allowed myself to step back and allow other people to do.
And then it's going to have longevity. Because once we're here or not, it's still going to go. And so it's like our little, seed that, like you said, our seed and our plant that we planted, and then it's going to stay as a legacy, hopefully, to us, this work. And we don't have to be there. We could be, at home working, or we could be on vacation, or we could be with in my case, my grandkids, because ever since I have my grandkids, oh my goodness.
Okay, so speaking of legacy, I have to say, I cannot thank your family enough for always being there for me. Like, I started my first spiritual retreats, because then I started wanting to do retreats, and I started it back in Sky Valley with Cielo. Your whole family came and supported it and was there with my mom and my family.
Yeah, I remember our families.
It was absolutely like, I will never forget.
It's
I mean, it was
so
magical,
true.
really.
Yes.
And, we make life-lasting impressions. Like Tammy and her ex that's passed now came, and then they were so inspired. They went and did other work at the,
just to watch, right?
Yeah,
how it all
and
ripples.
Just to watch how we can touch lives and do the retreat work. To do our own inner work.
To do our own work.
So very important.
Yes.
I realize how very important for us as colleagues to go do, because otherwise, how do we show up, right? Because it's so
important.
The people we've had to, I got to witness, and some of them now behind bars for insurance fraud.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah,
it's like, whoa, we saw the light, but at the same time, you see the dark.
Oh, well, and that's why, as a CEO, I always say my name's on everything. We have to do everything by the book, because I will be the one in jail if not. You know what I mean? If we go anything or whatever. Yeah. So, I mean, not just jail, but you do the right thing all the time. 100%. But you're right. There's so much responsibility with our ethics.
Yes.
And, God weeds those people out. I can almost feel their vibration when they're coming towards me now. I mean, I know. I can kind of tell when they're not.
I literally had a client come up to me and say, I have a business thing to talk to you about. I'm always wary when a client.
Oh, yeah. Especially a client, yeah.
But he's been, around for a long time, forever. And he's like, Michelle, I can pay you $2,000 for a client for this center in Hollywood Hills. I'm like, I don't broker clients. He's like, is that what you call it? He's like, but I can tell you it's good. I'm like, I don't broker clients. Like, these people, they get one chance maybe in their lifetime, and if they don't get it on that chance, they may never get it.
That's right.
And it's a life and death errand.
It is.
And
it's life threatening.
My responsibility to make sure this isn't money motivated at all. That it's 100%. I'm sure that this person's going to be in safe care.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I'm honored when people send people my way.
Yes.
They're telling me, I'm feel safe and confident that this person is going to be in safe care with you
right.
and get the most. And with you, I always feel, oh my gosh.
And God takes care of the money.
Yeah,
I mean,
always.
we're always, right?
100%.
We are always fed. We're always paying pay our payroll.
Yes,
we pay,
always.
everything gets paid, and then there's surplus. It's not like I'm driving a Lamborghini or anything,
Right.
but I don't want to,
No.
because, and I'm part of ATTAC. I'm on the founding board for the Addiction Treatment Advocacy Coalition, where we help with legislation. So we actually help with the legislation towards, making it against the law for the patient brokering, all that stuff.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's literally against the law. That's why
it's illegal. But I
yes,
just knew
no,
it
it is.
always feels
It's
icky
illegal
and
now.
wrong.
Well, people would tell me it's unethical, but it's not illegal. And so then I thought, you know what? Let's change that. So I got it with a group of people, and then I'm like, I was determined we're going to make this illegal then, because it's people's lives.
I remember when the Florida centers were like paying up to $4,000.
Oh,
I was like,
yeah.
that's ridiculous. Why would anyone need to pay that much for a client? That in itself is a deterrent. And like, why?
Well,
you just show up and do your job. Like, trust me, they will come.
Yeah.
They say create the space, the clients will come. And if you're in alignment and meant to be doing this work, that everything takes care of itself, does it not?
It does.
I am so thankful that you're involved with that, because there was a tight squeeze on insurance after all of that abuse that happened.
Yes.
And I was there in the day when that shift happened, where they were just charging more for one UA than a whole month of treatment.
Oh, it's
and
ridiculous.
And then people with trauma, they're getting into treatment, actually doing the real work. That takes a minute. It's not an overnight matter.
Hard work. It's hard work.
And then also the insurance would get cut because of other people overcharging for ridiculousness.
Yeah.
And it's so sad.
Well, it's sad because the press, that's what they put out there, because it's a fantastic story, right? To put all of the bad players and stuff. So then the public they get nervous to send their client, their loved one to treatment, because they think we're all the same. No. And it's important for them to know that there are those of us who have been doing this work for years who are offended by the ones who do that, and we do what we can to prevent it from happening. But it's hard to say, like, if people ask me, well, how can I know, and I always, if people are looking for treatment centers, they should look at the experience, of the staff, how long the staff have been there, or how long they've been working in the field. And if the program's been there for quite some time, ask them about their alumni, because that says a lot too, because 100%. if they have a large alumni, that means that they have success rates, and they're not just coming and going based on insurance.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But we do advocate through ATTAC for insurance payments. That's all we do.
So are you going to have a good alumni system in place here?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay. We definitely, that's a huge part of any treatment center, I think. Like I said, because that shows what's going on.
I actually think Betty Ford does a great job of creating community.
They
with
do.
What they do. They
really,
really do. One thing about them, they've gone through a lot of their changes necessary to keep going.
Yes.
And this and that.
Transition with
one
Hazelton.
thing they've had, and the family program they do is really good too, because my brother and we got to experience that, and it was very, very insightful and good for family to learn.
We'll have a family program here.
Good.
Once a month, and without the family program,
I mean, really,
we just the families have to get
100%.
And otherwise they go system? Back family system, they go back home and nothing changes, then nothing changes.
Right, 100%. So what's it cost to stay here? Like,
well, at Harlow Gardens, we do take insurance. We're going to be taking insurance out of network in the beginning, and then we'll get some contracts, but it'll be $45,000 a month.
Okay.
And then $75,000 a month for private rooms. So for semi-private, $45,000. Okay. And that includes detox. So we have a medical detox and MAT.
I had a tour. It's really nice.
So
here.
This is a higher end program, I'd say.
Yeah.
But not to deter anybody, because we can always, work something out, or definitely we'll bill your insurance. So if you have insurance, we're going to bill your insurance. But if you're coming in privately, that's what the fee would be. And that's about average now for that used to be really high end in Malibu, but now it's like 90,000 in Malibu or 80,000. Yeah. So it's everything's gone up. I mean, the staff because we have to have therapists. We're going to have licensed therapists, master's level and above, for their case management, 2 to 3 individuals a week, and trauma informed treatment. I mean, we'll have all this, and so with that, that's very expensive to have all the staff, but we have to have the best staff.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Otherwise, what's the program, right?
Yeah, no. It
Yeah,
definitely
because you
has
can have a
some
beautiful
substance.
facility, but if you don't have the experienced staff and
No,
the
I'd
caring
rather-
staff,
100%. If I were to choose between a pretty place and a place with substance and deep therapy, I would choose. I don't care what it looks like. Give me the substance, because I don't want to have to do it again. You don't want
That's
to have
right.
to do treatment again.
No.
You want to be able to get in there, do the work, be strong, build a foundation, and then sustain it, of course, after, like go to ITS and sober living, and
Right.
and that's important too. I think the whole wraparound, like I say, and correct me if I'm wrong, like 3 months of primary care, and then maybe like half a year or more, depending on what you can or want to do, of aftercare.
yeah, I agree. 90 days. 90 days is the number.
At least.
Yeah.
People get
90 days is the
because
number.
the 30 days, right? You're just barely waking up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can hardly tell what's happening for yourself.
And that's where, ATS shines, because we keep our clients and then they go to your sober living or other sober livings, and they stay in treatment for 6 months. And I've had clients tell me after coming back from residential that our therapeutic, because it's so intense, is more than what they got at residential.
Well, they're also woken up more to be able to
so
do
they're
more
ready,
inner work, right?
And we're launching them into life. So say that it can only afford, or the insurance only pays for 30 days here at Harlow, at least we get them detoxed, stabilized, and then we can send them to ATS and sober living, and that's where they can do all their work, their therapeutic.
Your good staff are actually going to be here.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes, some of our staff are going to be here.
You've got the creme de la crop, they say.
I'm so blessed with our staff.
They brag about doing psychology work and therapy work with some of your people, and I'm like, oh, they're working here too. I thought they were going to retire, but no.
Oh yeah, no.
Like you got Salim out of retirement even, and he was like done, and he was like, all right,
I'll come back.
Oh my God, what a godsend.
Well, you know why? Because the therapists, they love to help. I mean, that's their passion, is to either when they're getting older and ready to retire. I mean, they are so just wonderful with the clients, and they've got it down packed, and they're seasoned, and they just go to the depths of that soul with them and help them through it with whatever, if it's EMDR, if it's talk therapy, whatever it is that they do, psychodrama, all that stuff that they need to. So they can also help mentor the therapists that are coming in new.
I love that.
And so that's the sacred work. That's to me, I mean, I will build a space and bring the healers that do the sacred work. Because it is.
It is. 100%.
Like this little office we're in, there's a desk there and a window, and we're going to have some art and everything. We're still putting things together. But this is going to be a therapist office, and this is how we have them set up, just so that they can feel really comfortable, doing their work. And because, I mean, it's just a lot.
And it's ongoing. People had to know. It's not just
ongoing.
Your life is going to be ongoing newness to be able to.
I mean, mine is. I mean, how long have I been, every time I've been doing therapy for years. I've been going to retreats. I've been putting retreats together, doing this work. There's always, every day I'm learning.
And then you got into doing the angel work.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing transformation for you. And then working with the bowls, sound bowls yourself.
Yeah.
Doing it, and you were like, put your mouth away. I was like, yes. I always say yes to spirit.
So do I.
I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful you got to share on the podcast show. Especially, you're literally one of the first people that have ever like gave me the kind of lift that I needed to be in this field for so long.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. You're so amazing. I love you. I know, and everything that you do, all your magic fairy dust. I mean, God works through us, so thank you. I love it.
So I want to thank everybody for joining us on this episode of Cielo Spiritual Foundation Inspiring Interviews. Please like and subscribe. Share with a friend. Please feel free to write comments, ask questions. We're definitely answering questions online. We don't hesitate to be there for anyone. If you have anybody you love that needs treatment placement, you just got to hear from Josie and I about some places here in Palm Springs, but she has a plethora, as do I, of places we can meet your needs. And that's all we've got for today. Stay tuned for next week when we'll see you again in Inspiring Interviews.